Welcome back to Lent Daily, where we continue to examine the private revelations of the saints on heaven, hell, and purgatory. Today, again, we focus on hell, and we're looking at the private revelations of Saint Faustina. And a quick reminder, if you want these videos in your inbox Monday through Friday during Lent, you can sign up and join at lentdaily.com. Saint Faustina was a Polish nun who lived from 1905 to 1938 and was a member of the Congregation of the Sisters of Our Lady of Mercy. Her days were spent in quiet service, performing simple duties in the kitchen, tending the garden, and welcoming visitors at the convent door. But beneath this humble life was an extraordinary spiritual journey. Over years, she experienced powerful encounters with Jesus, visions and conversations that revealed his message of divine mercy, a message that would spread around the world. Pope John Paul II called Saint Faustina the Apostle of Divine Mercy. In her diary, she writes, "I, Sister Faustina Kowalska, by order of God, have visited the abyss of hell, so that I might tell souls about it and testify to its existence. The devils were full of hatred for me, but they had to obey me at the command of God. What I have written is but a pale shadow of the things I saw. But I did notice one thing, that most of the souls there are those who disbelieved that there is a hell." And how many today disbelieve that there is a hell, or that it's practically empty if it does exist? Once in a while when I'm doing these videos and I read the comments, I see certain people that question the existence of hell or deny its existence outrightly. And I just tremble for them. What a sad place to be. To live a life believing that God does not reward good nor punish evil. Then how do we live our life? Well, then basically in whatever way we want. Saint Faustina writes, "Today I was led by an angel to the chasm of hell. It is a place of great torture. How awesomely large and extensive it is. The kinds of torture that I saw. The first torture that constitutes hell is the loss of God. The second is perpetual remorse of conscience. The third is that one's condition will never change. The fourth is that the fire will penetrate the soul without destroying it. A terrible suffering, since it is a purely spiritual fire lit by God's anger. The fifth torture is continual darkness and terrible suffocating smells. And despite the darkness, the devil and the souls of the damned see each other and all the evil, both of others and of their own. The sixth torture is the constant company of Satan. The seventh torture is horrible despair, hatred of God, vile words, curses, and blasphemies." These are the private revelations of Saint Faustina. And if you've been journeying with us since Ash Wednesday, you will know that we've been going through every day, Monday through Friday, meditations on other saints' private revelations on hell, apparitions or experiences. And you will now begin to see a pattern, that many of the things that each one of them describes overlaps with the other. And I think Saint Faustina is a really great example because she lists 7 tortures, all of which have been mentioned already with other saints. For example, the loss of God. This is the worst suffering that Saint Catherine says. A soul can't see God. We have Saint Faustina's perpetual of remorse, which corresponds to Saint Catherine's agony of regret. The fifth torture, she says, is suffocating smells. Saint Hildegard spoke of this as well, of noxious stench and foul odor. Saint Teresa talks about pestilential odors. Also, she spoke of this suffocating smell. Saint Faustina, interesting, speaks of this darkness, but in the darkness, things are still known, that the souls see each other's evil. They also see the demons and their evil. So in the darkness, they see. Interesting. Corresponding a little bit with St. Catherine's suffering of the diabolical vision, soul forced to look upon the ugliness of God. And all the saints, basically, that we've covered have talked about this, but this penetrating fire, or this fire, and many of them speak, and again with St. Faustina, this fire that does not destroy. It's hard for us to understand. Can you imagine being burnt alive in this life, but then not dying and being continually burnt over and over and over again and not dying? The saints talk about this suffering in hell because they are there for all eternity. Their existence lives forever. And so we can, the horrors of hell are far beyond what we can imagine, but we do have a little sense of suffering now. But all of our suffering comes to an end, the physical suffering. So imagine a person experiencing being burnt alive but not dying, or a person drowning but not drowning, just simply suffocating but still living. And add to that maybe another way of dying. So in this way we get a glimpse into eternal suffering, because in this body, the suffering comes to an end. St. Faustina says she heard blasphemies and vile words. Well, this also corresponds to St. Francis of Rome. I don't think I actually mentioned that in the video, but she describes hearing these things in hell that were so evil that she could not bring herself to repeat them or write them down. These are the tortures suffered by all the damned together. But that is not the end of their suffering. There are special tortures destined for particular souls. These are the torments of the senses. Each soul undergoes terrible and indescribable sufferings related to the manner in which it has sinned. There are caverns and pits of torture where one form of agony differs from another. I would have died at the very sight of these tortures if the omnipotence of God had not supported me. This reminds me a little bit of St. Francis of Rome, who was also overcome by what she saw in hell, but was sustained by the archangel St. Raphael. St. Faustina overcome by what she sees, but is sustained by the power of God. And again, we see sins being punished in like manner in the way a person has sinned. But she has an insight that we haven't seen before, that through the senses by which a soul has sinned or a person has sinned, they are punished in hell. St. John Bosco, I believe, if you remember back, said that people on their foreheads were marked by the way that they have sinned. St. Faustina writes, "Let the sinner know that he will be tortured throughout all eternity in those senses which he has made use of to sin. I'm writing this at the command of God, so that no soul may find an excuse by saying there is no hell, or that nobody has ever been there, and so no one can say what it is like." So what has been the effect of these meditations on hell on you? I know this has taken effect on me, where I've been incredibly grateful for God's mercy in my life, incredibly grateful for His love, incredibly grateful for the sacrament of confession. I'm continuously weighing eternity as I live my day, thinking, am I pleasing to Jesus? And what I'm doing is pleasing to Him. But what effect does this vision have on St. Faustina? When I came to, I could hardly recover from the fright. How terrible souls suffer there. Consequently, I pray even more fervently for the conversion of sinners. I insistently plead God's mercy upon them. O my Jesus, I would rather be in agony until the end of the world, amidst the greatest sufferings, than offend you by the least sin. So the effects that this vision had on St. Faustina: 1, she's praying for souls, that they would not be lost. And 2, she doesn't want to offend Jesus anymore. Seems like positive fruit to me. And maybe you can relate with some of this. Please share with me below what stood out to you and why in this meditation, and also share what effect of meditating upon hell has had on you during Lent. I'd love to learn from you. Let's end with a prayer.
O Holy Mary, my mistress, into thy blessed trust and special keeping, into the bosom of thy tender mercy, this day, every day of my life, and at the hour of my death, I commend my soul and body. To thee I entrust all my hopes and consolations, all my trials and miseries, my life and the end of my life, that through thy most holy intercession and thy merits, all my actions may be ordered and disposed according to thy will and that of thy divine Son. Amen.